In the past I've made a few maps, and by that I mean tons of maps. Upon that, these maps are also 15 only up maps. And I questioned myself, can I beat every map within 2 hours? This was my first ever RLK UP map. And it follows a really special concept. You can take checkpoints like these. These are harder obstacles that you can complete to get an advantage. You can choose to do them, but you don't have to. Here's a part where you have to be really precise with your jumps. Then the sponges, I got through that. Box mechanic, I'm really proud of inventing this. And just like that, the first map is already completed. Took 4 minutes and 18 seconds and a respawn a total of 2 times. So this is my second map. There we have the triangle bounces where I fell for the first time. But the second try I did it. The return of the box mechanic. And these tiles are very steep and because of that hard to climb. But luckily I've got my first checkpoint. Through the tiny speed arch, and yeah, that's possible, and so I can jump the voids. Very hard jump here, you have to be very precise, and here I have the next checkpoint. On the doors I'm nearly disconnected, and then got the next checkpoint. Here you can see the big temple of slime, which is a theme later, but in there it is not that hard. For the ending I have some tricky jumps here, as very fast conveyor belt, and the punch in the finish is enough to make this map. The first map with a real theme. I'm in a temple and I have to escape. This is one of the hardest parts in this map, which got me really struggling, like you can see. But finally I did it. And got on to the next part, which luckily was the checkpoint, which I did first try. There are some tricky jumps and followed by that a checkpoint. There, the cloud jump, I did it with ease. And then one, so far I failed the checkpoint. But soon after I did it. Here we get elevated to the next level and get the checkpoint right there. I die, but the round after I do it. And there in the distance we can see the tower, which we'll face off later in another map. But for now, let's climb this one, and luckily I did it really fast. In this map you start all the way from the bottom and work your way up to the top. Here you can see me doing these diagonal jumps, then some precision jumps. There are some conveyor belts and a very hard checkpoint in my opinion, the diagonal bouncer, but I did it with ease. Okay, that was the first fall of this map. And for no reason I just got hit off there. But then I got the next checkpoint. Everything went really good. I did this hard part and the next checkpoint came. This is also a very hard part to time your jumps. But like you can see, I went through it and did it first try. Here's the last checkpoint, just jump on the boxing glove and you did it. I died one more time because of this silly mistake, but then there were only easy jumps left and successfully escaped the slime. Welcome to the tower. And there are real many tight jumps right on the side of the tower. But then there's also this checkpoint, which I took. Here I saved myself, but then decided to kill myself. This time I fell normally. That's my second death. But the rest was really easy for me. These jumps are sometimes pretty hard, but not for me. The next checkpoint got also clapped. Then we are once a bit away from the tower. I failed that checkpoint, but next time I did it. And so I climbed my way higher and higher, and suddenly I was at the finish line. And of course, I also did the last jump to finish this map pretty quickly. It has gotten winter, and this is one of my hardest maps that I have in store. First, these jumps, and the ring jumps are also very hard. But I did everything quite good, got this checkpoint, got through the hammers in the pipe, but then I was walking too far and fell off for the first time. But my run continued and I got the next checkpoint, but then I got too short. Here a little Lilliput section, and again a checkpoint. This jump is actually harder than it looks. Same goes for this jump, which you can see how it is done correctly. Next checkpoint, I have to go on this thin things. This obstacle is really awkward to do, but yeah. Now I walk just over the slime, make this very tight jump to just barely get the checkpoint and bounce my way to the finish to complete it. And this map is, like you can see, for Halloween with pumpkins and also balls, like there in the really hard part, which I just couldn't do. Okay, now I did it. Never mind, I didn't do it. But then, finally, 4th time's the charm? Nope, I fell. And then, finally, I did it, but I had to do it again on the other side. That's great, and I fell. And if I do it, I just mess up at other parts of the map. There are a few more falls. And then I did it, climbed the pumpkin and took the checkpoint. I go through the clouds up here to the next part, get hit myself off the map. But when I did that part, I found myself doing a good bar skip and a good jump through the clouds to seal the next checkpoint. Everything was on the way for the big final, where I go through the over the bonbons a second time and into the pumpkin. Now I just have to climb it, and look, I'm on top, and there's the finish line. Just like that, I did it, the map. This was the first map with digital theme. I've already fallen once, but the second time I made it through. Now go through the invisible pendulum, and yeah, that's possible, through the tiny vents and on the cannons. The cannons have a hitbox there, they're a fall for no reason. But then eventually I get the next checkpoint because of some precise jumping. So go through this part. There are actually little signs there, and this was the hardest part. Firstly walk on here and then jump on the X when it's below. Yeah, you get rewarded with a pretty easy checkpoint. There I fell for no reason because I walked off. Really great. The drums always got tinier, and then the flag checkpoint. And then I just launched myself into the finish line. Now that half of the levels are done, we can look at the time and we see we have more than half of the time left, so we're very good in time. From this round on, my friend Shody2 joined me playing these maps. On this map you have to climb a mountain and you start from the sea level. Right there I died for the first time and for a second time. But then I made it through, but failed the checkpoint. Haha, there's an invisible floor there. This saved me. Then the next checkpoint came, a pretty easy one. A long jump, then the 2 times boom blaster, you can't make it with 1 blast. Then we got to climb the mountain and we got to have the secret checkpoint that I put there. Climbed our way and then we found ourselves at this nearly impossible jump, which I died often. Very, very often. But then suddenly something changed and I got on. And I got to the next checkpoint, so I didn't have to do it again. We're on the top, this is a beautiful scenery, and right there is the qualification. Next up, a map without a theme. And yeah, the obstacles I think are pretty creative here. You have to get pulled up by this. The first checkpoint, pretty hard one, but I managed to do it. You gotta be precise. And then the big balls. And I got hit off by one. But then not the next time. Me and Shody made it to the checkpoint. I managed to get the next checkpoint. Then just don't touch the red things, and the high-speed check section was no problem for me. And these were some quite difficult jumps, but a relatively easy checkpoint. I fell off the timer because something pulled me backwards, I don't know what, and the ending was just some simple jump dives, which I did to the end and eventually qualified. Welcome to the jungle. First off, you're gonna make your way over the roots, and like you can see, I had a lot of problems with that. But when I did that, I got my first checkpoint. Then I was climbing on the sides of the trees up with very tight jumps and avoided the obstacles on this part. Then I got the next checkpoint, which were some very precise jumps. I made my way off the tree again, but then I fell. Here I could go slow enough to make the turn. The hammer checkpoint was then no problem for me. But the problem was this jump, which I failed, but then soon after on the home stretch I also failed that jump. But that's enough failing for me. I got my way to the finish and qualified also on this map. I had to make my way over a broken bridge, but then the wind sucked me down and I fell. After the bridge there was some precise jumping, which I did perfectly, some jumping on the house walls and the next checkpoint. There are also some precise jumping and I found myself at the next checkpoint, which I of course did. And then I got out of the house and right outside there was a checkpoint waiting for me that I of course took. I then trusted the map builder and made this extremely awkward jump first try. But then I fell here, so I had to do the awkward jump again. But I did it and found myself also doing the next checkpoint first try. I then yeeted myself to the next and final checkpoint, fell at the doors again. But then I did it and found myself at the tire part at the end, which I did perfectly fine. 3 maps to go, almost 40 minutes left. I should do this. In a giant slime dome and had to make a precision walk at first. Then this was a very hard obstacle which I did in the next try. But then, sadly, I failed the checkpoint. Died, and did the checkpoint. I then ran on my custom lily pad, used the boxing gloves as a surface, and did the next checkpoint with side jumping. And then was on the box, made that obstacle, but then I failed the precision walk and died a couple of times. Or should I say one time. Then I made the next checkpoint, did some jumps there. Then this conveyor part was actually really hard, but I managed to do it, but then I failed at this part. And here I died just for no reason. Then I died and I qualified. Let's go. But the dying continued. Wait, what? I qualified? What am I saying? Yeah, the dying just continued all the time. Then finally I was able to make the next checkpoint and I died again. So now I'm at the finish line and yeah, that was the map. There's also a good view of everything. I know, it looks ugly now. First we had to build a staircase, but Shodi was trolling. This Minecraft themed map, I had to then dig up dirt and jump through the river. Then made my way up these blocks to the first checkpoint which I took, and this was really important checkpoint because at this part I died loads of times. This is just a compilation, but it was struggling so hard. I don't want to talk about this part anymore because I was struggling so hard. I couldn't believe it, but I literally made it through. And then the suffering came back with many more falls to come. When I finally made it over there, I was surprised that I did this hammer part first try actually. Yeah, and then died. There I had to climb the pickaxe and make my way up higher. And then I got rewarded with a checkpoint. This high-speed part was no problem for me, but this jump was, it seems like. Then I successfully avoided the balls and came to this very hard diving part, which I messed up here. Then after that I climbed a ladder, did a second high-speed part and successfully avoided the pendulums. And then I completed the dropper to get myself into the finish. 19 minutes 30 seconds on the clock for the last map. If I don't do this, I delete YouTube. So this is the final map and I have 18 minutes left to complete it. I bounced myself to the checkpoint, but before that I could do it, I walked off. The second try I did it, launched myself to the drums, which got increasingly tinier, got through the dropper and made the checkpoint. I also got through this dropper sort of thing, made my way to the next dropper, yeah, many droppers in this map, and I did the next checkpoint. There I had to precision walk up the ramp and boosted myself to the next section, which I tried to skip on, but that didn't go well. Then I died a couple of times there at the checkpoint, but then I did it, try to skip again, but there can't be skipped on my maps. That's the next checkpoint. I died there because the jump wasn't good enough. I died there again. Then I bounced my way to the next checkpoint, which was really hard, but I mean, I did the first try. Shodi messed with me a bit, just like the Boom Blaster, but that couldn't stop me from taking the last dropper of the map of the video and the last qualification. These were all the maps for this video. Here you can see all the times and respawns. If you wanna play my map, go ahead. Code is always on the top of the screen. Bye bye and see you soon.